How's it going, everybody? For today's beer review, we're going to be taking a look at Chimay Tripel. So this is Chimay's Tripel, or Chimay White, for the white cap on top. This beer comes in at 8% alcohol by volume, which is a decently high ABV, and you'll probably be feeling it if you drink the whole bottle, which is what I'm about to do. And Chimay is a brewery that so far has just been very solid for me. I've loved the stuff I've had from them. My favorite brew, of course, is going to be their, I think, flagship, which is Chimay Grand Reserve, or Chimay Blue, which is I believe it's a Belgian dark strong ale. Now, this is a triple, which is a style that I don't typically care for too much, but I've read a lot of good things about it, and I want to eventually try all the Chimay products since there's not that many, and it is an attainable goal for me, and we get all their stuff here, so this is next on the list for me. Anyway, 8% alcohol by volume, and it says, the registered trademark Trappist certifies that this ale was brewed within the walls of an existing Trappist monastery. So this stuff is straight up imported from like a real Belgian monastery. And I say, what a better time than this to use my Chimay beer glass. So let's go ahead and get the cap off of here and the cork. All right, cork is out. Actually, there's a little more reading on the back here. It says this ale was brewed within the walls of an existing Trappist monastery under the control of the Trappist community. A major part of the sales revenue is used by the monks to support charitable works. The exceptional yeast isolated by Father Theodore, combined with the purity of the highly protected water of the abbey's wells, gives Chimay its unique richness. Since 1862, Chimay's secondary fermented ales have neither been pasteurized nor filtered, and only natural ingredients are used. To fully appreciate the agreeable combination of fresh hops and yeast of the Chimay Cinque Cents, serve chilled in a wide mouth glass. And this is just slightly chilled. It should be pretty much the perfect temperature right now. It says to store it upright, which is what I have done. And it says to serve it in a Chimay beer chalice. This exact one, in fact. So I guess let's go ahead and give it a pour now and see how it is. The color, when straight out of the bottle, very clear yellow kind of color, almost like a standard domestic brew. Seems to have a medium-high head potential on it. As you can see, it's foaming up pretty well. Alright, I'm not going to test my luck. It's pretty decently sized bubbles. Wow, I can kind of smell like a walnutty sort of smell from here, and it's really good. Formed an easy 2 fingers of decently dense, but it's also very soapy head. The head, I imagine, may not stick around for too long because the bubbles in it are so huge, but there's also, if you can see, a ton of bubbles streaming up to, support the head and strengthen it, so it may stick around. The color, very interesting. It's kind of like sort of like a honey gold color is what I would call that. It looks really good. Let's go into the smell. Yeah, there's kind of like a, got some on my nose there. There's kind of like a walnut nuttiness to this beer, sort of. It's got a little bit of peach to it. Lots and lots of yeast, obviously. Lots of malt. Only a little bit of hoppiness. And maybe like really, really light touches of something like brown sugar. But the main things to me are this kind of peachy sweetness. And then this sort of like a walnut kind of nuttiness to it. It smells really good. Let's give it a taste. Very good. Surprisingly, it's very light, extremely well balanced on the flavor, And I can tell now that the head, even though it's very bubbly, it's very reinforced, and it's probably not going anywhere. It has a very quick finish, and there's not much of a flavor development for it. This is kind of like what I would call like a one and done beer. It's like you taste it, you got the beer taste, that's it. There's not really a development or, you know, a intermediate bridging of flavors, or doesn't fade into anything. Light, yeasty sweetness, little bit of kind of it's just very slightly walnutty bitterness, and a little bit of peach in there also. This is one of those beers where there's not a lot to say other than it's just good, and it is. It definitely kind of changes my mind about Belgian triples. I imagine that they probably won't all be near as good as Chimay, because Chimay seems to be one of the best, at least as far as my opinion goes. But this is very good stuff. Just to reiterate, it all kind of hits you at once. Just a little bit of a upfront yeasty, peachy sweetness, and then it also has a tail end of it that's kind of like a nutty bitterness at the end, and it works really well. Stuff is super, super carbonated. It's like champagne. I mean, the head on it is just like, I can just put my ear to it and you hear crackling and bubbling. I mean, it's just super carbonated, almost like champagne qualities, which is to be expected of this style. As far as the rating goes, I actually want to give this like a 98 in the style, specifically because I'm not a huge fan of triples, and this one is delicious, so for me it's a very good example of one. And for my own personal overall rating, I would call it about an 89 or a 90. It's very good. I don't think it needs to be more complex. I think it just needs to be slightly stronger. Pretty much the peach needs to be a little sweeter, it needs to be a little more bitter, it needs a little more nuttiness. It could just be strengthened up a little bit more. But it is surprisingly kind of sessionable in a way. So that's interesting. Also, just to note, the cork that I have here says 2013 on it. So we could very well be dealing with a beer up to close to 2 years old here. So that's with a little bit of aging on it. But these are a bottle re-fermenting, so, you know, what have you. Anyway, that has been my review of Chimay's Tripel or White Cap. Hope you guys enjoyed the beer review as always, and stay tuned for the next one.